Lloyd Hamilton with Verdae Geothermal. I'm promoting geothermal because it's the best way to get into a fossil fuel free society, and I'm into energy improvements as well because it's an important way to reduce the cost of geothermal is to reduce the load. And again, Lloyd Hamilton, Verdae Geothermal, VERDAE, geothermal.com.
We have a little bit more time. Tell us about what were you saying about sealing and the building performance?
Oh, yeah. So the building performance, I got into building performance to make sure that I could reduce the load enough to make the geothermal cost effective. And the first couple of houses that I did geothermal, the system worked great, but the homeowners were really upset about their energy bill. New construction, so they didn't know how much it cost before. And that experience made me become somebody who looked for the information of how to do building science and building performance. And over the next 20 years, I became an expert at it. And so I always bring that to the systems that I install.
So what's building performance? Be specific. Like you were just saying.
Well, okay. Building performance is the idea of how much energy a building uses, how energy efficient it is, how good the indoor air quality is, and how durable the building is. And it turns out that air infiltration is the biggest determiner of the efficiency of the building, the indoor air quality of the building, the durability of the building. The only way you can control moisture flow is to control airflow. And you control airflow, and that's half the load.
So what are we talking? The attic, the basement? Be specific. What's building performance?
Well, building performance is, again, the energy consumption of the building. So every building has a performance score, if you will. And the Energy Star program quantifies that. But what we're really looking at is just like a car has a performance, right? And you know when the performance of your car is off, you take it to the shop. Well, a house has a performance, but we're so ignorant of what a good performing house is, we don't even understand when our house is not performing. We think, well, that's how it is. And that has to do with drafts, it has to do with mold, it has to do with insect infestation, it has to do with peeling paint, it has to do with how the building sheds the weather.
And so what do we do with the ducts? What do we do with the attic, the basement?
Right. Well, I air seal the area between the foundation wall and the underside of the floor typically. If it's an old house with stacked walls, we actually spray closed cell foam on the rock wall. Go into the attic. We might put the spray foam insulation on the attic. And it's always, by the way, closed cell foam, not open cell. Always closed cell. And that has to do with controlling moisture. The attics, sometimes the insulation's on the floor. We'll try to air seal that. The ductwork, will air seal the ductwork and then enclose it in, say, cellulose or something like that so there's more insulation on it. But the idea is to reduce the loads. And I typically, my house, I did a deep energy retrofit of and installed geothermal, and I reduced the total energy consumption of the building